Warning. The video you are about to watch contains imagery and references to very touchy topics. Topics such as suicide, drugs, gore, animal abuse, physical and sexual assault, and contains very unnerving visuals and audio. If you are the type of person who cannot stomach the topics mentioned previously, then it is advised you move on to another video. If you're still here, then I hope you enjoy it.
Nostalgia. It's a very interesting feeling. It's that feeling you get when you play an older game you grew up with, or when you see a place like an old house you used to live in. Many people crave the feeling of nostalgia because it brings them back to when they were a kid, when times were a lot easier. However, I wanted to talk about nostalgia in a different light. The use of nostalgia in horror. I've been fascinated with this idea for a good long while. The idea of taking something that feels so familiar and turning it into something dark and twisted sounds like the key to a good psychological scare. Liminal space actually does this really well. It's images of places and locations that have the vibe of familiarity, like abandoned airports and gas stations, places we've all been to in our lives, but they have a really odd and strange feeling to them that just doesn't sit right. I'm not a liminal space expert, but if you do want to see a good video on how liminal space works, then I would highly recommend checking out Ty TV's liminal space video. He makes videos like mine, except on cooler things like rat kings and zombie fungi. I was scrolling through my YouTube one day when I saw a video pop up in my recommended called Lacey's Wardrobe, a lost 2006 Flash game. This video very much piqued my interest as someone who is a major fan of Flash games and animations. I grew up with Flash and I held it really closely to my heart. But something felt off about this whole thing. And since I watched that first video, I've been hooked on the Laceys series. So in honor of the series getting its third entry only a couple weeks ago, I would like to ask you to sit back and relax as I tell you about the Flash game series we were never meant to see, the Laceys games. The first entry, Lacey's Wardrobe, was uploaded on October 11th of last year with the description reading, "Cute little game I found after many years. I remember playing this game as a child." The video starts out very chill, like most horror series on the internet. We're told that Lacey has a big day ahead of her. She's going out on a picnic, going to the mall, and then meeting up with her cute new date. Our goal as the player is to fit her into the right outfits for each occasion. Sounds lovely. The music in the background is a bit unsettling, but she'll be alright, right? The player starts the game and we are taken to Lacey's room where we dress her. Once the player is finished, they click ready and send Lacey to her picnic.
Welcome to Fortnite.
The message above reads well done, and we get ready to move on to Lacey's next activity. But something isn't quite right here. Hiding in the bushes is the face of a man. He can very easily be missed, but once you've seen him, your eyes just can't get off of him. We move on to the next stage. Next, we need to get Lacey ready to go shopping. The music during this segment has changed and feels a lot more eerie and off-putting. Suddenly, the music stops, and the phone rings.
Lacey, did you see my text, Lacey? I can't wait to meet up, Lacey. I want to have a good time tonight with you, Lacey. Tonight. Bye-bye.
The phone hangs up. The room is now darker. The music has gone even more for the worse. We see the stalker appear again through the window and we can hear him breathing heavily as Lacey continues to get changed. The voice on the phone was him. And I just want to say that whoever voiced the stalker did a really good job at genuinely making me feel uncomfortable. Like I was actually like curling up into a ball listening to that. Once Lacey is dressed, the player clicks ready and Lacey makes it to the mall. The calming chime played last time has been slowed and pitched. The mall seems empty with only Lacey in sight. It's here when Lacey tries to communicate with us and asks us for help. The stalker is going to kill her if we continue. The fact that she knows what is going to happen makes me believe that she's been through this before, as if she is alive and she has to relive this experience over and over when people play the game, and this is her call for help. However, the player proceeds. Our final task is to get Lacey ready for a date with the cute guy. However, based on recent events, this supposed cute guy is a stalker, and quite frankly, not that cute, if I'm gonna be 100% honest. It's now night. The music in the background plays in reverse. There is knocking at the door, which scared me more than it should have. And there is a gift at our doorstep. We open the gift, which appears to be a love heart-shaped box, but instead of typical chocolates, we get a censored image of what appears to be blood and guts. The music stops, and we get another phone call.
Lacey, I'm here. I'm here. Did you get my gift, Lacey? Did you like it? I'm here. Open the door, my darling. Open the door. Open the fucking door!
We continue to get Lacey dressed. Lacey tries to talk to us one last time.
Please don't make me go outside. Please.
But the player continues to dress Lacey and sends her outside. It's nighttime, and the image in the background is even lower quality than last time. The message no longer says well done, and instead is replaced with Lacey's last words. What have you done? We cut to black, complete silence. Until we hear the stalker breathing heavily. We hear blood dripping, and we hear the cries of Lacey as she is torn limb from limb. Suddenly, the cries stop, and we are shown a close-up of the man who stalked and killed Lacey. All up close and personal, with the same cheerful chime used many times before, however, slowed and pitched down. I ate her remains, so that we will be together forever. I love you, Lacey, he says as we cut back to the cheerful main menu. Yeah! When I first saw this, I was genuinely creeped out by the atmosphere this video had built, and even now when rewatching this, that face at the end still just haunts me. The story builds the narrative that Lacey is aware of her existence and is stuck in an endless loop of reliving the same experiences every time a new person plays her game. However, the next video tells a very different story that seems a bit more thought out compared to the first one. That video would be Lacey's Diner. Lacey's Diner was uploaded on November 2nd, a month after the first Lacey archive. The video is called Disturbing Secret Ending, found in 2007 Flash game, Lacey's Diner. The description reads, "Let me know in the comments if anyone had a similar experience with any Lacey games, because I'm honestly very freaked out. What the heck? What the freak? What the flute? What the fuck?" This time, the description seems more scared of what they have found rather than whoever uploaded the last one. We also get a name for the uploader, being Cha-Cha887, who I'll refer to as Charlie because it's easier, and also I know a Charlie. So, we start on a loading screen. This time around, we have text on screen coming from the person playing the game.
Hey guys, today I wanted to show you a very weird secret ending I found in one of those old Laceys Flash games. I found it in a Flash archive site and felt nostalgic because I played so many Laceys games in my childhood. I ended up coming across an ending I'd never seen before, and
You'll see. Let's start. The player starts the game and we get told that Lacey is opening a new restaurant. Our goal is to give Lacey the right ingredients for the food and then serve it to the customer. However, if we aren't able to get the food in on time, we lose. The music that plays is a lot nicer than the music in Lacey's wardrobe, but still manages to give off a feeling of unease. The game starts, and we see Lacey behind a table of ingredients, and a prompt telling us to click Lacey for instructions. Also, unrelated note, but if you're working with food, tie your hair up, god damn. We also see a timer in the top right corner set for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Charlie decides to fast forward to the end of the timer to show us what happens when the timer runs out. You are not ready for this. We have 50 seconds remaining. Lacey starts asking the player for ingredients and we play the game out as normal. But once we get down to about 10 seconds, the game starts to cut in and out. But it's fine because we got the ketchup in and we prepared a lovely stroganoff with baked rice. We finished our food in time and now we need to hand it to the customers. The customers. We serve the food to the customers and the shift is over. Wonderful. You have satisfied all the customers and earned lots of cash. It's time for Lacey to close the diner and rest. See you tomorrow. Charlie explains the next levels are just going to be different recipes, so we're just going to skip to the ending, which reads, "You did it. Lacey's Diner is the best in the world." Well, I mean, I don't know if it's that good, but like, we cut back to the first level. However, this time, Charlie has decided to let the timer run out to show us what happens when the timer hits 0. Upon hitting 0, the table disappears. Time freezes. We cut to black. And then an image appears on screen. Lacey's eyes are drained of life with blood coming out of one of them. She has scars on her wrists that have been censored for obvious reasons. The text on screen calls Lacey stupid, useless, slow, and a failure. There's an image of a knife above her and a date that marks the 29th of June, 2006. Lacey clearly isn't happy with the effort she's put into her work, and she's taking her frustration out in a very harmful way to herself. I'm also unsure if the date has any significance, but it is there to acknowledge. We cut back to the restaurant. We hear the sound of ambient winds, and no one is sitting in the chairs. You took too long, and the customers left. But do not fret, the game tells us, because we always have tomorrow. We learn that the restaurant is all Lacey has left, but all the customers are hungry and unforgiving. If I fail, I see no other option other than doing what the funny guy with the lightning said. We cut to the second day. We are preparing a cake and Lacey is asking for some strawberries. We let the timer run out again, and nothing happens until 5 seconds are left. Lacey disappears, and once the timer hits 0, we see a brief moment of Lacey, who doesn't look like herself, with blood on her face and a messy uniform. The screen flashes failure. She's failed again. And for brief moments we get shots of different paragraphs. Some words are very blurred or hidden, so forgive me for skipping or mistaking a few words. Figure 58. What growing up is all about. Go and put me on death row with Skid Rope and Brown Boy. They fished in the river and pulled out my body, pronouncing me dead in the middle of the night. Caught in between, I had blown out my brain while it was still twitching. For memories are no substitute. Part of the ingrained paranoia was owed directly to the fact that they used to teach kids such perverse little lies they passed off as the truth. At this moment in time, I don't actually understand the relevance of these texts to the story, but if you happen to know more than me, please inform me and everyone else in the comments below. Back to the game, the customers have all left again, and this time, Lacey is not very happy. Why can't these people just wait 3 minutes for their food? I'm trying my hardest, yet I'm running out of money to survive. This isn't fair. This isn't fair at all. It isn't fair. I hate them all. I hate them. I hate them. Tomorrow, I'm gonna give them something to eat, alright? They'll face what they did to me. On the final level, everything is fully run down. The whiteboard in the back reads "End it all." The fridge has dirt and rust in it, and the bowls contain items very much not for consumption. Lacey's face reverted back to the previous one we saw, only this time there seems to be wires or something under her face. Each time an item is placed into the bowl, we get an image with some text. She picks up a bowl of cigarette butts. First image has a picture of Leg, a stop smoking campaign, and a picture of something I can't quite make out. The paragraph reads, "These moments were hard to forget because they were superglued to my heels and thighs. Not even the strongest bird beat couldn't peck it off. The smoke tinted me in grey forever, and it made me tear up so much I almost cried in front of him. Never again." The image below of Legs is also burnt, which further pushes the fact that Lacey had experienced physical abuse from someone in the form of cigarette burns. The person they almost cried in front of is someone we will get into in just a little bit. We see an image of a large cockroach. The text reads, "First they dominated the ceiling of my room, but then I started seeing them everywhere. Bugs and bites and dirt and ash and vomit where they shouldn't be. They were all cloudy, but crisp and very jumpy. I wanted to suck it all inside of me like a reverse frog dissection and end it all for one." Also, this is a cockroach for anyone else wondering. I assume this tells us the living conditions that Lacey had went through, with bugs and dirt, ashes and vomit all over the place. Further just pushing that Lacey obviously did not grow up in a very healthy environment. The next image features a bunch of pornographic images, which have been censored. Face sucked by the static, the grains tickled Uncle's eyes with pleasure. He was the same as me, but didn't want to admit it. He lived in a world where he was desirable and sensual, and he got so used to his lies that he believed the computer would whisper into his ears. This plot point introduces us to Lacey's main trauma, her uncle. This passage tells us that Lacey's uncle had a very unhealthy addiction to pornographic material, that he began to believe that things would work the same way it works in those videos. This is called the cultivation theory, which I literally learned about in school like 3 days before writing this script. It's the theory that consuming too much of a certain type of media will begin to shape that person's view around the world based on what they're viewing. This led the uncle, who had an unhealthy addiction to this type of content, to believe that he could get his way just like the men in these videos. Next is pretty self-explanatory. No writing. Just in the center of a screen is a tag called drug facts. However, what was dragged into the bowl beforehand was meth, clearly meaning that Lacey either had a meth addiction, was forced to do meth, or her uncle could have been an addict to it. We also see the word Rocio on a piece of paper on top of the drug facts. Remember this name as it shows up later in the series and is very important. Next is a background of used condoms. The text reads, "And when he looked down, he saw my little bruised knees smiling back at him, the exact size of his sweaty palms, even though they could be shaky. He was always the type to see the positive in things, and he couldn't keep the mayo from raining all over it like a mad fever dream. What a relief. Any thought of wrongness was dissipated long before it got into his mind, and screams were inaudible to his ears. It was just bliss." This indicates to Lacey being a victim of sexual assault. It doesn't say from who, but at this point we can assume that it was her uncle. Next we hear glass break as the next image shows up. The image is a bunch of glass with blood stains over the top of the image, indicating harm from glass. Tip of your fingers. It finally breaches through your skin layers, getting underneath your nad, slowly but steady into your blood vessels. It loves to feel all your fat swirling around as it rips through your muscle and touches the very core of your bone. This is Lacey describing the feel of glass digging into your skin. There are also theories that someone, most likely her uncle, in a fit of rage, broke something made of glass on or near Lacey. Finally, we move on to the last ingredient. Everything goes black, and it's just Lacey and the man in the bowl. In the bottom right are the letters UN, which is talking about the uncle. He is the last ingredient. Placing him in the bowl cuts to a footage of the uncle. He looks into the camera. And our food is complete. I love a good bowl of that's my go-to meal. We go to serve the customers, but the game cuts in and out. Now the customers are stock images that have been horrifically edited. The chewing sounds in the background pierce through your ears. Each time you give a customer their plate, they disappear and make a unique sound, disappearing probably in disgust over the food. Also, this was something I was meant to say in the last video, but the audio design in this series is just so good, and it gets so much better throughout the series. It actually creeps me out how disgusting and odd these sounds are, and the fact that I genuinely feel disgusted and creeped out with the chewing sounds and the weird noises everyone makes, that's how you know you have good horror. After feeding everyone, we don't get an ending like the last one. This time, we see the restaurant has been closed down due to sanitary violations. Lacey stands at the front of her now closed restaurant with a cigarette in hand. This is it then. Finally, we cut to a pixelated image of Lacey's dead body on the ground. The last bit of the video we get is Charlie saying that these games might not be as innocent as they seem, asking us to report any more secrets like this because most of the games are lost now, and then the video ends, but not without a flash shot on the last frame of the video showing a girl with cords going around and through her, and the text saying, "I'm in heaven," written on the front. There were also two other images like this that were flashed during the bad ending, which showed a zoomed out picture of the last image and a close up on the girl's arm with the cords jacked through her skin. I'll talk about them later in the video because for my theory, they are very important, but as of right now, we don't know what this could really mean with the knowledge of the first two videos. Both Lacey's wardrobe and Lacey's diner have been really great. However, I feel like Lacey's wardrobe was just an idea the creator had as a way to scare people, while Lacey's Diner feels like it's trying to actually tell a story. It's like a FNAF situation where the lore really started after the release of the second game, because Scott really didn't expect his game to get as big as it did. Also, yes, I related this back to FNAF. I'm a FNAF channel, what do you expect? I wouldn't rule Lacey's wardrobe out of whatever lore this series is trying to create, but right now it just doesn't seem relevant to the story, which by the way continues in the longest episode yet, Lacey's Pet Shop. At the time of writing, Lacey's Pet Shop was released just 1 month ago on July 22nd and is simply titled Lacey's Pet Shop 2007 Flash game. Charlie returns in the description and says that they managed to get an interview with the co-founder of the Lacey games. Beginning the video, Lacey jumps from the bottom of the screen and holds an MP3 player, and then plays a file called grace01.mp3, which kicks off the interview. Grace, who is apparently the co-owner of the Lacey games, says in her interview that she isn't actually affiliated with Lacey's games, and that the website is trying to spread misinformation on the internet. We see Rocio's name show up again, same name that showed up during the drug sequence in Lacey's Diner. I feel like Rocio has a deeper connection to the series rather than just being the creator of Lacey games, but more on that at the end. The next interview snippet, Grace goes back on what she said, saying that all the creepy endings and glitches, none of that was her doing, but with saying this, it defeats her point of her not being affiliated to the franchise. We see people complaining on forums about how the Lacey's games are traumatizing children, and also a picture from the Lacey's website, which is someone absolutely tearing a kid to shreds over their fan art for Lacey, which I just want to quickly read. Honestly, you should just give up. This is utter fucking trash. Did you really have the courage to send this over? You thought Lacey would like this? Well, she doesn't. In fact, it's only displayed on here for other kids to laugh at your terrible work. Never draw again. Bro, rip Jenny, man. She got flamed for no reason, bro. Grace says that she'd actually decided to play one of the games that a lot of parents were sending complaints about. That game being Lacey's Pet Shop. We cut to the game and click play. Lacey has one of the most famous pet shops in town. People come from all over to buy their perfect furry companion, and it will be your job to help her today. We are also told that we are also told how to play the game and to remember that the animal must always be perfect for their new owners. I'd also just like to say this background loop is kind of a bot. We get our first client who asks for a clean, cute, playful pup. We get a dog, we clean him up and send it on its way with its new owner. Next, a pop star comes in and she wants a purple cat with striking eyes and lots of personality. It's a bit of a weird request, but I mean, the customer is always right. We paint the cat purple, give it some lenses, some glasses, and a killer hairdo and send it on its way. Next, we have an absolute baddie come into the store who wants a budgie but without its color. So we paint it black, comb over its hair, and give it some nice high boots. I would call this a weird request as well, but like, I don't know, there's something stopping me from saying that. Next up is a French girl with really weird proportions asking for a rare French hamster with a really long neck. Oh, look at this guy. He's adorable. Does he really need to have a really long neck? Oh, shit. Lacey, that's good enough. Oh my. Next, an old man comes in asking for a turtle with teeth so it can smile at him. We put the teeth in the turtle's mouth and they both give us a nice big smile back. How cute. We then get a man come into the store and ask for a bunny, but without the ears and the tail and its legs. For a brief second, we see an image flash on screen of a dog with its eyes black-barred. This image also appears multiple times throughout the video. As the bunny shows up with the scissors, you can see Lacey seems to actually be a bit hesitant with this one and looks really uncomfortable with this request. It cuts to black and we hear the scissors in use. The bunny is now covered in bandages and has no life behind its eyes. The music has stopped, leaving a sense of dread for what this final person could wish for. Lacey calls for the next person as an ominous sound begins to creep in, while a dog with a face that almost reminded me of the uncle rises from the bottom. Lacey now appears black-barred, while the text on the side reads, "Uh-oh, you clicked the bad dog. You made a mistake." Which leads to this cruelty squad ass scare, bro. What the fuck? On a loading screen after that, we see some text, which I couldn't quite read, but shout out to to user Sad Refrigerator 4637 on Reddit for providing transcriptions for the hard to read text, which I also use to help me in Lacey's Diner. It reads, "Nightmares come and nightmares go. I yearn for them again and again. Pull my hair out and my nails off and pretend I was never real. What happens through the night never did." I don't exactly know what this means for the story, but it is creepy nonetheless. Hey, Editor Jaden here. Sorry I'm listening to Michael Jackson's Butterflies right now, so bear with me here. After reading that passage back, I've come to the conclusion that it probably means something along the lines of Lacey's uncle trying to pretend that everything he's done to Lacey just never happened in the first place. With the line, "What happened in the night never did," with the line, "What happens during the night never did," probably meaning what happened in the night never did, referring to this strongly. I don't know how I didn't gather this when I was actually writing the script, so congratulations Jaden on being a certified dumbass. Once the game loads, it ends up in a point and click adventure. We see a house in front of us, a cat with no skin, and arrows telling us where to go. We decide to speak to the cat skeleton, which is blocking our path to the house. He says he won't let us pass because a bird came and stole his skin. So now it's our job to get his skin back from the bird. Turning left, we find the bird with the skin and steal it back from him, adding it to our inventory. After going back to the cat, we give him the skin and we are allowed into the building. Inside the building, we can go left, right, and upstairs. On the walls are pictures of animals and abstract art, and while the image isn't moving, staring at this image for too long tricks my brain into thinking the walls are shifting around. We try to head upstairs, but the door is locked, so instead we go through the left door, where we see a family of pigs with blacked out eyes, eating at a table. We get closer to see the pigs are eating flowers. We also see text that flashes and twirls in front of the image of the dog we saw beforehand. "I've always known what you are. From the moment you first touched me till when I found myself stepping over remains of your skin glued to the floor. You have no regard. I had none either. You squealed like a pig, just like a pig. This had been my childhood dream, the one you took from me. I collected all those bruises for years. My spine hurt like a needle went through each section. Once I got used to it, I didn't think about it anymore. But you made me think about it forever when you made that mistake. You made a mistake. You took an angel away. You took my angel away." This is Lacey talking to her uncle during his last breaths after she killed him. The uncle had done many things to Lacey, but the tipping point was either him killing or getting rid of Lacey's pet dog, shown in the background of the text. That was the last straw. Lacey went and killed her uncle after he got rid of Lacey's dog, Lacey's angel. Lacey also compares her uncle to a pig in her writing, saying that he squeals like one. So as I see it, the pigs at the dining table represent Lacey's uncle, who was eating away at flowers, which are commonly known to represent happiness, or as someone in the comments of the video who stole my theory, innocence, which could resemble how the uncle ate Lacey's innocence or happiness away. We leave the dining room and move on to the room on the right. We look around the room and don't see anything too important until Lacey mentions the cage in the corner and how she would like to crawl inside of it. Yes, I know, no one forced me back inside, but this pain just hurts so comfortably. I'm unsure on how the comfortable line fits in, so again, tell me what you personally think of this in the comments, because I am not a theorist whatsoever. Inside the cage, she finds a key which leads to upstairs. Back in the main room, all the pictures turn into Lacey's dog for a couple of seconds before reverting back to normal. We use the key on the door and make our way upstairs. However, the atmosphere is a lot different from the last room. The walls are red, the ambience is more heavy, the window is boarded up. In the bottom right, we see text from Lacey reading, "Uncle, have you seen Puddles anywhere? I can't find her. I've checked everywhere. Stop laughing." Further proving that the uncle has done something to Lacey's dog, most likely killing it. We head into the bathroom. The walls are smeared and the bath and sink are covered in blood. Wait, scratch that, it's lemonade apparently. Lacey decides to look at herself in the mirror, saying she isn't afraid of herself. "I'm Lacey." In the mirror, we see the girl covered in Y's again, and it looks like she's struggling. Text in the top right reads, "Blood up to my cheek and it sticks and smells." Oh, I get it now. Someone melted here. Pulverized remains entered my pores. Blood and shit and rests of an eye. I suck it all up. My legs swell and turn yellow. This was probably the hardest one for me to read, but I feel like this talks more about how she killed her uncle, possibly putting his remains in the bathtub. I don't really know. We cut back and now the walls are more red. The face in the mirror starts to talk to us. Writing on each side read, "Hello child, do you like playing on your computer? These are the real girl games. I made lots of games for you, but with none of those lies." This could be the creator Rocio, trying to explain why the games have these weird endings and Easter eggs in them, to reveal the truth of struggles a lot of women go through in life. Flash games like this are usually an escape from the real world. Everything in the games are colorful and happy and cute. Perfect even. But if you've been on Earth for more than 2 seconds, you'll know that it's not like that at all. And Rocio knew that and wanted to show it in her games. We leave the bathroom and enter room 1, which is a kid's bedroom, but something is under the bed. The thing slowly crawls up to the camera, saying something I can't quite hear due to the riser playing in the back and the static. The screen fades to white until we are placed in a dark room with a window to the outside. I was thinking of getting a cat this time. A small fluffy kit. I really want a cat. We would do all sorts of stuff together, like getting ice cream. I could have some right now. I'm so hungry right now. A hand slowly reaches for the window. It's been days, but I just can't leave. I can't. He's still under the bed. He'll look at me. A picture of a man's foot is shown, and he appears to be extremely injured. I assume this is the uncle. His eyes also appear completely bloodshot with no soul behind them. The hand retreats from the window, but after all of this is over, maybe I could also go shopping. I could go to a record store and buy CDs of all my favorite songs. I'll have so much fun. I'll listen to them all day long. Lacey's dog appears in the bubble, as well as the deformed face of the uncle that appears in the window. My sweet little doggy, my little angel. I couldn't take it anymore. You can hurt me all you'd like, but you weren't allowed to take it away from me. I will let you rot. The creature from before is now blacked out under the bed. The last room is covered in candle wax, with a box and matches lying in the center. Lacey decides to light herself on fire, and while she burns, we hear her talking about the death of her uncle.
For years he was barking at the round tree, worried about his sins becoming too visible on his skin. He always worried about the serious things, but me, when his time is back, I was the guy that pulled his neck.
Oh, phew, it was just a nightmare, Lacey says to herself, as you can see the remains of her uncle tucked away under her bed. Finally, we cut back to the interview with Grace, who says that Rocio was hiding lots of things from Grace, which led to them splitting up in 2010. The interview ends and the screen goes all fleshy-like, with the last couple of seconds saying only the word hello, and the video ends. I think this video has probably been my favorite so far, just due to how much is really shown during this video, and the writing of the text that shows up on screen is just something else. It's written so well. Amen. 10 out of 10. As of now, this is the end of the Laceys series, with 2 more episodes planned for the series. However, me and my friends started finding websites that were pretending to be Laceys games websites. These are not official, as the creator has stated in their community tab that the only canon material for Laceys are the videos on her channel. I was going to dive into them a little bit, but they really don't have too much to cover, so it would just be a waste of time. Hey, editor Jaden back here again. This time I'm listening to the Meet the City Night music, so that's cool. So because I recorded this script like a jillion years ago, I actually went back to look at the site for, I think, a screenshot for the video, and I came to find that the website that I was looking at had been massively updated while I wasn't watching it, and there is a whole lot more to this website than what I originally thought there was. Like, an entire ARG is happening on this website. So if you would like to see that, I mean, you know, you can always hit me up with like a like and a subscribe, and if you don't, I'll probably be really upset. So after covering each episode, here are my theories and how I think the story is going so far. Grace and Rocio are the founders of a flash game company for girls called Yaniaso Games. They've created a series about a girl named Lacey, but Rocio has been adding secret endings and disturbing Easter eggs inside of the games. But why would Rocio add these secrets to her game? For shock factor? Just to be an arsehole to children? I think that Lacey is a representation of Rocio. Sorry, someone is getting like chainsawed to death like outside of my house. In episode 2 and 3, we see visuals of a girl who is covered in wires, with some even plugging into her. Gray says in her interview that she isn't aware of what happened to Rocio or where she is, if she's even still alive. I think the wires symbolize the connection between Rocio and Lacey, as Lacey is obviously a computer game, and in the image, there is a computer that she's connected into. It might sound like I'm trying to hit you with a FNAF and say that Rocio has uploaded herself to the game, but I'm just trying to say that there might be some symbolism in their connection, as this series has some really interesting ways of symbolizing things. It's like a self-insert thing. If my theory is correct, then that means Rocio had gone through everything Lacey has in her games, which has been dealing with her abusive uncle, who would use her for his own bush gain. Her uncle had an obsession with explicit content, which featured the males always getting what they wanted, which led Rocio's uncle to believe this is how the real world worked, and use this to abuse Rocio. Rocio would put up with this abuse for years, until the day that Rocio's uncle decided to hurt her dog, which would result in Rocio killing him, hiding his body under a bed and possibly the bathtub, but I'm unsure on that last one. However, I don't know exactly how Lacey's wardrobe fits into the storyline, if it even does at all, but hey, that's just a theory. A Jaden theory. Thanks for watching. But in all seriousness, this series is honestly really great, and you should check it out if you haven't already. There are some amazing visuals and atmosphere building in this series, and I love the story, the art style, the scares. Go show Ghost Tundra some love for creating some amazing work. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, then a like on the video would be greatly appreciated. So would a sub to the channel, but that's only for like the coolest people, and only cool people can do that. I hope that you have or have had a good morning, evening, or night, and I'll hopefully see you back for the next video where we discuss nothing. Absolutely nothing. The next video is going to be 15 minutes of silence.